everyone, it is great to see you here once again on Dee's Delights. Today we are going to make a melt in your mouth chuck roast. So I'm going to go down over all the ingredients with you and then we're going to get started. So here's what you're going to need for today's recipe. 1 can, 14.5 ounces of Italian stewed tomatoes undrained. Well, I have just regular stewed tomatoes and I'm just going to have to hope that those are good enough. 1/2 cup of beef broth. 1/2 cup of ketchup, 3 tablespoons brown sugar, 2 tablespoons Worcestershire sauce, 4 teaspoons prepared mustard, which is just regular old mustard, 3 cloves of garlic. I will be using 3/4 of a teaspoon. Let me see, yes, 1/4 teaspoon of minced garlic equals 1 fresh clove. So I'll be using 3/4 teaspoon of this. 1 tablespoon soy sauce, 2 teaspoons pepper. Now this next one I will not be putting in. 1/4 teaspoon crushed red pepper flakes. I do have them in my cabinet, but oh my gosh, I can't handle it. I'm sure a lot of you can, so if you like a little heat, go ahead and put it in. 1 large onion halved and sliced. 1 medium green pepper halved and sliced. 1 celery rib chopped. Which, you know what, sometimes I think of it called a stalk of celery, but the whole thing is a stalk. So one of these would be a rib. And typically a rib, if it's big enough, will equal about 1/2 cup. 1 boneless beef chuck roast, about 2 to 3 pounds. I have one that I had in my freezer. I had my little vacuum sealer, and it just stores it so nice. 3 tablespoons of cornstarch and 1/4 cup of cold water, and I think I got it all. So I'm gonna get everything ready here, and then I'll be right back with you. Yeah, this is definitely gonna make more than 1/2 cup. That is 1 big rib of celery. That one right there is 1/2 cup. I bet you this made about 3/4 of a cup. I would have never even thought of that, but that is a big stalk of celery. So let's cut the onion in half, and then we'll just slice it real thin. So I got my onion sliced up. Next, let's do a medium green pepper, halved and sliced. And this is kind of large, but that's okay. So we got the green peppers, the onions, and the celery ready. So 1/2 cup of beef broth, 1/2 cup of ketchup, 3 tablespoons brown sugar. I'm just going to use just slightly under 1/4 of a cup. Well, mine's a little over 1/4 of a cup. Take out this big old ball here. Good enough. Good enough. There again. A little sweetness doesn't hurt. Let's open our can of stewed tomatoes. So remember, the tomatoes are not going to be drained. 3/4 teaspoon of minced garlic. First, we're going to place the onions, green peppers, and celery in the 5-quart slow cooker. I'm going to break this up a little bit. The green peppers, the celery. I have a little extra celery because mine was a big rib of celery. Okay, so next we're going to put the roast in. Mine is 2.5 pounds. Put that in there over top of the green peppers, celery, and onions. So we'll mix the first 10 ingredients together, which would be 1 can of the Italian stewed tomatoes, and they want them undrained. There again, mine aren't Italian, but that's okay. They're still stewed tomatoes. Maybe I'll just throw in a little Italian seasoning. 1/2 cup of the beef broth. 1/2 cup of the ketchup. 3 tablespoons of the brown sugar. 2 tablespoons of the Worcestershire sauce, and that would be 1/8 of a cup. 4 teaspoons prepared mustard, which is just regular old mustard. So 4 teaspoons would be just a little bit over a tablespoon.
Have a popsicle.
Yep, give me a minute. So I'm just going to make this a heaping tablespoon, which should work. 1 tablespoon of soy sauce. I'm going to use the 3/4 teaspoon of dried minced garlic, or you can use 3 cloves. Okay, so next will be our 2 teaspoons of pepper, 1/4 teaspoon crushed red pepper flakes. I am not doing that. So those are what we're going to mix together. And I might just put a little Italian seasoning in there since my tomatoes are not Italian. Okay, here it goes. Pour it over top. Next we're going to cook covered on low until meat is tender, about 5 to 6 hours. Right now it's about 12:30. I'll see how it is at 5:30. I am the last one up. Doug is already in bed. This took 8 hours. It didn't take 5 to 6, it took 8. He was tired tonight. It's 8:30 at night. He just went to bed. So anyway, we're gonna have this for lunch tomorrow, and I am going to pack a few to-go containers. We're gonna put rice in. I made some rolls. It'll be delicious. It was supposed to be tonight's meal, but guess what? It's not. So I'm gonna show you how tender it turned out. Now, I put a rump roast in. I wasn't even thinking. I grabbed a rump roast instead of a chuck roast. Now, I don't know if that would have made too much difference or not, but anytime I've made roast before, if I would have thought on low, I normally do have to cook it longer than 5 to 6 hours. And there again, it could be that I buy cheap meat because, well, I'm cheap. So I'm going to show you what the end result is. Now you can also make gravy out of this broth if you want. I'm not going to. Doug's not a gravy fan. I am. But there's so much good broth, and I'm going to have it with rice. I don't need to make the gravy. But if you want to, what you do is take the beef out, take the veggies out, and then save the broth in there. Mix a little water and cornstarch together first, then mix it in with your broth to the consistency that you like. But for right now, I'm going to show you. I've showed you this before. Uncle Ben's ready rice. Perfect rice every time. 90 seconds in the microwave. Just peel open the bag, 2 inches. 90 seconds, you got perfect rice. It's delicious. About $2 a bag. You know, I can't make rice for that. Well, I can, but it's not as good. So I'm going to show you if you think this is tender. You know, at about 5 hours I was looking at and I thought, holy goodness, this is hard. But right now, I can just break it apart with a fork. It just comes right off. That's what we want. So I'm going to pack this for lunch tomorrow. Pack a little for my parents. As you can see, that just breaks apart. Nice, tender. Now the test is to taste it. Let me see here. Remember, there's tomatoes, veggies. You got your veggies and everything. Very good. The old rump roast turned out nice and tender. And then you just have green peppers, onions, tomatoes. Put that over some rice. Make some mashed potatoes. Whatever you like. You got yourself a meal. So I would say 7 to 8 hours, not 5 to 6 on low. The onions, the green peppers, tomatoes add a lot of flavor. So thanks for joining me here once again on Dee's Delights, and I hope you enjoy your melt in the mouth. Is it melt in your mouth? Whatever. Melt in your mouth chuck roast, even though I made a rump roast instead. Hey, thanks for joining me. Have a great week, everyone, and I hope to see you real soon.